Welcome back to the fourth game in the best of 5 series in Wolf AoE 4 in-house tournament. Spawning on the southern side of the map with 2 wins, 1 more to go. Monsieur Gamgee as the English, spawning in the north side of the map, trying to protect his title, Fight to the Death as the Rus. And the map that we have today, and I'm definitely not opening it up to see, is High View. High View for the Rus, good map.
Very good map, though we have an interesting choice of not a second scout versus the Rus. Could prove disastrous if the Rus get too many of the Huns here. But
That's
we'll
a very
see.
good point.
We could see if this is a backfire plan, not opting to try to challenge any of the Huns over here and going for a very slow English build, sending out all those workers for the wood, looking to probably construct some farms, fighting against this Rus. Now, bringing out the best team Fight to Death has to try to secure the win. With only 1 win underneath Fight to Death's belt, this will lock out the Rus for potential wins later in the set here, but clearly wanting to make sure that a win is secured.
He's going to pick up a ton of gold on this map. It is going to give him a huge early game advantage.
Indeed. Especially with the English, unfortunately, dodging all of really powerful Hunts around here. The Rus will be able to pick up wolves, has free reign of all of these deer. It is going to be quite an extra economic boost. We will see what type of gameplay the Rus decide to do.
Now, Monsieur Gamgee has never played the English in this series, so this is a off-meta pick for him. He has fought the English many times. The English are a very popular civ in this series, but for him personally, he has never played it. He's only ever seen it done. We will see if that is enough for him to be able to execute this. One thing to note, as you said, when you're fighting the Rus, you are required to open double scout, because otherwise you give them way too much of the free deer, of the free sheep, and the wolves across the map. You have to challenge them at least a little bit in order to stop the amount of gold that they'll get.
Indeed. Gamgee there, passing over a pack of deer, finding a wolf, but it will be spotted by the enemy scout that could easily just go for it and try to kill it, which will happen in right here. Another scout finally coming out, going for the deer near the English, but at this point, all of the Huns have already been killed on the map. It is crazy how fast the Rus can separate and kill all of the deer on the map if you do not go quickly.
We do have Monsieur Gamgee interfering with one of the situations, but he is already going up. We are at exactly 3 minutes, and the Golden Gate is coming down because he's just gotten so much gold on the map. He's sitting on 245 gold on top of what he already has. He could easily pick up Wheelbarrow here when this next villager turns in this set of 10, and he will have that first upgrade on top of it. But with the Golden Gate, I mean, we know that Fight to the Death on the Rus is an extremely aggressive player. Monsieur Gamgee going for the slow boom. He is going to have to try to fight off Rus aggression here. The second option with Fight to the Death, knowing that the English are in play and that they are going for a slow build. Well, the real question is, does he know that? He actually does not know that yet, but he will soon. When he scouts this out, if he knows they're going for a slow build, he has 2 choices based on the amount of hunts that he has gotten. He's at 335. Is he going to push early, try to take advantage of the fact that the English don't have a large army, or is he going to immediately go to Castle Age?
That's a good point. The Castle Hall finally coming out. It's going to be a bit behind, and it doesn't come out soon enough. We could be seeing a lot of pressure coming in, but it is the English under that town center, and these are not French knights. They will take quite a bit of damage trying to harass. The biggest problem the English will have is that gold mine is far out there.
It really is.
I guess they don't really need it.
They might not, but a tower on that left side could absolutely be critical here. This map really favors movement and aggression because
Indeed.
of the lack of vision.
Golden Gate coming down. We will see what transition the Rus plan to do. And we have the early stable, no doubt looking to send out an early knight to cause havoc. Or workers accidentally called off, grabbing all the villager workers here.
I was questioning that in that moment too, but it just turns out it was a misclick.
And the berry bushes preventing the H from forming. The English, though,
Big ripperones.
a bit of a situation for the English. One stable is not super dangerous. We'll see if anything else comes out from it, though. The Rus probably realizing that Fast Castle would put them at quite a bit advantage, allowing them to get out early mangonels to push on the English, prevent any longbow mass from becoming too powerful. All really good choices here.
I will tell you, though, the early knights coming in, look where that thing is rallied. Straight to that gold mine.
Indeed, that is the weakest point of this defense. The English, though, probably one of the few teams that can survive in the feudal pretty easily without it.
All Monsieur Gamgee has to do here is build longmen and not stop, and he can shut this down. He's going on stone. Is he going for a double TC English play?
Not a terrible choice in a sense of being able to protect any of the gold mines, but without any longbow production, these knights will have free reign of going after all of these mines that are being produced, and here comes the longbow production. No doubt, one going for the other one, this other knight coming in, most likely look like it's also going to be rallying on that gold mine. More longbow production. Coming in, this knight definitely going to get the drop on these villagers, but not for very long.
Not, because he's about to cross into the... Is he going to cross to the alarm circle? He crossed in right now. He hears the bells. Does he respond fast enough? He does not see it quite fast enough. Knight almost killing this villager. He does. But the knight is pushing towards the machine gun nest, and he has to pull back, rightfully knowing that he cannot take shots from that town center.
Indeed. The stone mine, though, is visible, and it is collecting. This other knight not going for it. And as long as that stone is being collected and it reaches its maximum, there we could see a second town center coming in. It looks to be that this looks to be a castle focus for the Rus. Realizing it is quite the advantage here. These miners about to be go after again as it goes. Spearman trying to defend, not going to be able to pull it off as that worker also goes down, but we have a spearman versus a knight. These scouts pushed off by the longbows.
The knight is in the English line, and I was about to say if these English villagers just turn and shoot, they're going to take this guy out, and they finish that knight off.
Losing a couple villagers for that, but the knight has gone down. More knights in queue, denying a later age up, looking to apply more aggression with more knights, but that town center is slowly but surely being gathered enough resources for, as long as we know a second stable coming out, realizing early aggression is the plan. But that stone, it will make a difference here. If the second town center comes out, especially on that gold mine, it will make a lot of it safe. Volleys of arrows coming in. Any damage that these longbows put on these early knights is big damage that will stay. More knights coming in, more production coming in. Every knight will reduce the chances of the Rus being able to go up to the next stage. We'll slow that down, and that works for the benefit of the English, as their farms don't rely on any transition from going in.
That's exactly right. The biggest thing here for the Rus is that if he's building knights at a double stables, he can keep that production going. But he's not going to go to the castle.
This is a bad engage for those knights. Both of these knights going down as they walked right into a spear wall. Double also going on the stone, but it doesn't matter at this point. That stone does not matter at this point because enough stone has been gathered to grab that town center. This knight is forced back.
These knights are not French knights. They cannot handle assaulting an English base like this. Monsieur Gamgee has quite the army amassed now. One question is, would he counter push with a blacksmith? And we have an archery range coming out for Fight to the Death. It looks like he's committing to full feudal.
Indeed, he looks like he's going to try to challenge the English in this combat, but no doubt that second town center is the goal of Gamgee, to get that out and start getting that gold production once again. A wall being placed on that side to produce incoming forces from that left side to give it a little bit more defense, denying the towns that are coming in early. More longbows coming in. The stone
in the north being taken by two knights. Boar goes down, so it looks like he's going to try to go over there and transition. He is at 465 hunt. He's very close to the next level.
Indeed, all the resources going into economic upgrades, going into upgrades themselves. Looks like it's definitely planning on doing some level of a massive early aggression. All that gold coming in. The villagers heading out to collect the boar, trying to prevent that transition as much as possible. All these villagers going away.
On the north side, Monsieur Gamgee has repositioned his army. The question is, do these knights know about the units in the forest? If they didn't, they do now.
You know now that is a lot of knights that are being formed, and they just took a few shots.
One thing to note, though, is that might be a good amount of spearmen. It is not enough to shut down that knight army. That is a lot of Rus knights.
Indeed, that is quite a bit of problem. And those knights are just going to leave. They're going to walk away realizing that that army is now away from the base.
The real question is who's going to build a blacksmith first, because getting the range defense upgrade or the range offensive upgrade is going to define these battles. If the longmen get that one more upgrade, they go from dealing 3 to 4 damage on these early knights. But if the early knights get that upgrade before the longmen get any, then their damage reduced from 3 to 2. A huge reduction in damage output. But this boar on the left side might be taken without any knowledge by Monsieur Gamgee.
These knights walking directly into the forces as an outpost is being constructed. These longbows are going to get some shots in. They're going to go right for that worker, trying to kill it. Definitely going to get that work down, but at the cost maybe of this last knight. The last knight's going to get away.
That was some weird animation right there. I don't know if you saw it.
That was a bit weird. Those delayed attack animations coming through could cancel that outpost to get back the 100 gold, 100 wood to try to move towards the second town center. The biggest problem that is about to happen, though, is that there is a large mass of troops coming in looking to push aggressively. A lot of knights, and the English have stopped producing troops, have stopped producing any form of offensive here, looking probably put down that second town center, but they're going to be put in a bit of a pickle here. Towns that are going on the right side here, which looks like it will be opposite of the defensive coming through. The Rus backing off, worried about English aggression.
Well, Monsieur Gamgee has definitely set up a situation here where it appears that he's going very heavily in feudal, but this double town center situation, that will give him the advantage over time. So once he builds that, as soon as that happens, fight to the death, just like in the game, just like in the reverse situation before, fight to the death will be on the clock to kill him before that villager advantage gets too much. In the previous matchup, Monsieur Gamgee was not able to defeat fight to the death. When fight to the death got this economic advantage, we will see if he is able to turn the table on him and even out these games.
Indeed, the biggest problem that's currently going to be going in for Gamgee is there's just that resource. All the resources are being converted into a feudal army. This other army out of position and is going to be flanked and most likely destroyed if it's not careful. This is a problem for Gamgee. It looks like the armies have passed by each other, and there is no English army at home here to protect anything.
But there's no army in the Rus's base either.
No, this looks like it's going to be quite the problem. And no doubt, fight to the death, realizing that there is a town center to go after. We see a blacksmith coming down, the upgrade coming down.
Siege
both sides.
Engineering.
Siege engineering coming in. More longbows now being produced. But it looks like this army is going to hit first. And we don't know what's going to happen here. Fight to death might have to might have to turn around. All the gold is going into resources, and these gold miners are about to be flanked.
Yes, they are, and the first one gets picked off. The second one gets picked off. The third one is definitely going to get picked off, and I think the fourth one, too. Almost all of the gold miners killed. His gold is now shut down. But fight to the death is in the middle of the enemy's base. The problem is he is going to try to just dive it. You can't just dive it here because the long momentum, because of the town centers, he's going to take a lot of fire from these areas, and he is slowly going to be torn apart. We have a stable coming up from Monsieur Gamgee behind the main town center, and
we do have a tech. We have enough to age up. If Gamgee wants to try to go up here, it would be the correct choice, and I think I heard the placement of the white
tower.
It looks like all these villagers now they have to go back in. They have to threaten all of these knights with arrow fire. These knights, while taking the damage, I think a range upgrade just has not come in. No, it's just massive power here. These knights out of position, they are taking heavy fire as knights themselves are just hammered by arrows. Another knight goes down. More resources. Deciding to change the position of the castle, probably looking to push it forward a little bit closer to the town center, no doubt looking to protect. I don't think Fight to the Death sees this white castle going down, does not see it going down. It's going to be, no doubtly, this is going to cause a big problem for those battering rams.
Archers are taking fire. He sees it now. He sees the white tower. He barely sees it in his sight line. The English army is back. His offense here is stuck in a terrible position. He has to deal with the army behind him, but the white tower is going up in front of him. There is not a good good way out of this situation. The amount of defenses that has been laid out by Monsieur Gamgee here is going to prevent this aggression. There's just not enough units on the field for him to get through.
Indeed, that is going to be quite the bit of a problem. The gold mine is still... The gold production is still way behind. These archers pushing up is a dangerous situation. These archers a bit out of position, but that castle now in position. It is going to start hammering these archers. So many archers going down. It is a bad position for this ramp is not being defended properly. All of these archers are going down. These spearmen almost have a free line just to start walking in and cleaning up the archers. They're not even focusing their ramp. They don't care
about coming in too. This push is over. He can do some more damage on the villagers. He can pick them up with the archers, which is the right move here. But as for this situation, he is now fighting an age down against the English in castle. He needs to start developing his economy because his rush has been completely stalled.
Indeed, these knights though looking to go in. The problem is that once this knight goes down, these archers once again will start taking fire. Horsemen, good choice coming in, looking to push on these more battering rams. These battering rams hiding in the forest, but it does not matter. This White Castle now in play. It is a bad situation to be in for the Rus. They are not aged up. They do not have the gold. They could get the gold with. They could get the gold. They need to wait for the gold. The Golden Gate has already done all of it can, and it looks like there's tech upgrades coming in for all the things. There's no blacksmith for the English. There is a blacksmith for the Rus, but upgrades haven't come in. The battering ram just deciding to retreat.
Fight2theDeath now has the ability to age up to the next stage, but he must be shaken a little bit here. His main assault force has gone down. The enemy has 2 town centers. The enemy has a castle. You almost wonder if that castle was necessary in that push, because he was able to fend it off. If he had gone a 3rd TC, that might just have further helped his advantage. But we do finally have the castle age up for the Rus, and we are getting the Abbey of Trinity. A very good choice here, because we need an economic boost in some respects, and that's going to help. We are getting walls from the Rus, trying to make sure that he is going to survive this situation. Let's take a quick look at let's get a villager snapshot. It is 49 villagers against 43, even with the 2 town centers.
I think during that conflict there, Gamgee kind of felt a little bit pressured, not building enough villagers to keep up with all the pressure that was happening. Towers coming down, but it looks like the offense has completely stopped. No production. Everything is going in for Fight2theDeath to try to age up, to try to make sure the economy and everything is back together. Gamgee not having a blacksmith might come to bite in the ass, but we will see. Second town center coming in for the Rus. That advantage that was there no longer going to be around. Network of castles, very important upgrade, will be coming in, giving another combat boost. It's looking pretty even here, though. The resources once again completely spent by Gamgee and not being spent by Fight2theDeath.
Getting the boar are very vulnerable. There's some horsemen coming by. The question is, does he see it? He doesn't. This is the thing about Highview.
Yeah, everything is hidden, and they're just going to be going around looking for things. They're going completely on the outside, just doing a bit of scouting, doing a bit of looking if there's any villagers to harass, but avoiding the board, not thinking they were going to be there. Lot of villagers on gold. A lot of gold being spent by the English player, looking to get economic upgrades, looking to get anything to start boosting the economy. A lot of wood, a lot of gold, trying to keep things flowing.
And look here, we actually have an interesting situation developing. We have the knight upgrade coming in for the Rus, but as the English are moving out, trying to get more space, going to try to get this relic. Defensively, the English can hold, but offensively in the field, their army is still significantly outmatched.
Indeed, this could be quite a problem. The horsemen finding the gold miners, pushing them off for a second, forcing them to go inside the base there. More towers coming in to push up, try to get vision through this problem. The blacksmith finally coming down for the English, those much needed range upgrades for their army. Lots of archers. More knights coming in.
Horsemen going straight for the wood line. They're trying to get to the other side. A big problem here is there's a warrior monk holding a relic on that other side, but Monsieur Gamgee just lets his horsemen go down. If he had turned that corner, he'd be in a big spot. But of course, there are English knights right on these villagers in the front. But these English knights are very much out of position, and they are shredded to pieces by the archers and the knights. That is a big loss for Monsieur Gamgee.
But a huge point of intelligence, though, as both of those siege workshops are visible. Gamgee now knows that there is definitely siege about to come into play. and
He
could
has
try
a
to take advantage of
monastery.
that.
He has a monastery. He's going to try to get those relics, try to deny the relics from the Rus. But the Rus still haven't gathered that first relic, that monk just standing there. That is a big problem. He needs to get these relics. If he's not getting the relics with Abbey of Trinity, he might as well have gone the hunting cabin.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a problem that you don't get the benefit. And every minute that monk stays there is a minute denying the resources you could have had from that hunting cabin, especially with 540. You would get quite the value from it. And the amount of extra resources, they are good patches of wood that it would be placed in. But that is not here nor there. That is a completely different game. No upgrades, blacksmith coming in. Still no upgrades coming in for that. Just looks like upgrades and upgrades and upgrades. Trying to get all those economic upgrades. The English spending every resources on more longbows. Nothing to counter in these double mangonels that are no doubtedly going to show up. That Gamgee is aware is going to show up. More knights being produced to try to challenge perhaps the Rus.
We're at the weakest phase of the game for the English and the strongest phase of the game for the Rus. If this goes to Imperial, the English are going to have an amazing advantage. They are going to have their gold from the enclosures. They are going to have the Siege Ball of Death. They will have amazingly cheap archers that have extra effectiveness. They will have infinite knights and or infinite men-at-arms. The Rus will have Streltsy, but they will slowly fall off. The Castle Age is where the Rus have to get the map control to set up the win in Imperial. If they get put on the back foot here, they are going to lose. One thing to note, his army is easily big enough as of this moment to crush the English, and his idleness right now is giving the English the ability to build these outposts. But he must have a plan going on here because he doesn't feel quite comfortable yet. It looks like what he wants to do is he doesn't want to burn his units. He doesn't want to lose them. It looks like what he wants to do is build up for one giant engagement that Monsieur Gamgee can't cut away from, that he can't recover from, and just win the game in one solid hit. He's walling up the right side of the map.
We do not, Boyar's Fortitude, not in for those French cavalry. Only one range defense is the only thing that's applied here, and the English have queued up both range offense and melee defense, giving their archers much needed defense that they're going to need, but without Springle to defend any of the mangonels, defend against those mangonels, the English are going to be finding themselves in quite a problematic situation.
I completely agree. These are not crossbowmen. Longbowmen in the Castle Age cannot snipe out mangonels. This is not Imperial Age. This is not Imperial Age longbowmen. Imperial Age longbowmen can tear them apart with fire arrows, with the rapid attack speed. They cannot do it here.
The knights moving out on the flank, looking to probably start sieging on the side. The biggest problem that's going to happen is that it looks like
the monk is going to be detected. The monk is going to be sniped.
The monk will not make it out. That is a very unfortunate piece. That is 100 gold gone and the relic denied, probably reminding Gamgee to get out their own particular monk to try to capture things on the side. The villager passing by, realizing that there is a gold mine right there, sees the gold mine villagers. This is a bad spot if Fight2theDeath does not reposition. That could pose, all of these gold villagers are extremely vulnerable right now.
The only advantage here is that the wooden fort is going to get vision. If he's looking, he can do something about this, but Monsieur Gamgee's not pushing it. He's not pushing the situation.
Well,
there's the knights on the other side.
The knights are coming in. They're going to start getting out these villagers. This is a bad spot to be in. There's a lot of gold that's going to be going. The knights, the army moving out. The village, the longbows are out of position. They're going to fight right into the trap. They're about to be flanked. They have vision.
No shots. The longbowmen have dodged it.
They have dodged it. They're running away. They're trying to get out of there. They spot the tower going down. The villagers passing by the longbows. This is a bad spot to be in for the English player. But they see they're going to volley on these archers, these villagers. They run away. They can't construct it too much danger. They're running away even farther. Keep backing up. More longbows under construction. No doubt realizing it's a bad spot to be in. The siege, though, far away. These longbows in a really tough spot now.
Well, Fight2theDeath has done exactly what he needs to do in this situation. He has gained the map control in Castle Age. It was a critical move for him to be able to set up a win, because if he wasn't able to take the map control before we go into Imperial, there is no way he was going to get past the English wall. But he has done so. He has gotten the side of the map, and the question is Sacred Site victory on the table? A very classic move for him.
Indeed. The biggest problem now is that there is no vision outside of this hidden bushes here. Fight2theDeath does not have good vision. On the other hand, Gamgee sees the force peering up. Springles starting to appear. These Springles are necessary. There is a massive mangonels here. And these longbows could start fights because The Knights do not have vision here. They are being pulled. They are being shredded. This is not a good spot as there's no vision for it. But these longbows are in a dangerous spot. If they're not careful, they're going to get hit. There's all the fire. They're being kited. They do not have vision. They have to push up. They don't have vision here.
We're in Monsieur Gamgee's wheelhouse now. An archer duel from long range, micro heavy engagement.
Sprinkles, they see it. They are moving in. They have the attack speed bonus. This is a bad spot to be in as they can start firing on those. There goes one. This is a bad spot to be in. These mangonels.
Go for it. The mangonels are pushing forward.
They keep firing. This is still really bad. Oh, that's a good shot. They just go for the damage. The longbow's in a dangerous spot, but they're going to take down one more. Only 2 mangonels left. The Knights flanking on the side, killing as many units as they can.
Mangonels
these longbows
versus these archers.
They are not focused enough. They're shooting. It takes a shot at the lone villager. The Ruth Knights here cleaning up the entire wood line of Gamgee here on this right side, but they're not going to survive all of these town centers. It is just a bad spot to be in. That push.
Second to last mangonel has gone down. The attack speed on these Springles, that's 50% attack speed. It's just tearing through this siege.
It is that. There goes all of those seats. That is so much gold that was lost in that engagement. More mangonels coming out to replace it. That offensive, unfortunately, was not good enough. A keep, in the meantime, has gone down over the secret sites. No doubt realizing that a different approach is probably necessary here. A trebuchet coming down.
The biggest problem here for Fight to the Death, he might try to do this trap fight, but he's going to get into a late game siege fight with the English. That is a dangerous situation. He did get that map control he needed. The English are now going to have to push through a large section of the map. Berkshire Palace, not opting for the cheap trebs, opting for the Berkshire Palace on the front. But the villagers are slowly being pulled back, right side.
On the side, they are being attacked. They're going to be killed. They won't be able to finish that. This is a bad spot. That is one of the last gold positions for the English. They're going to lose a lot of villagers here, and they're going to be problematic in their gold production. But perhaps that is perfectly fine as this moves them into the late game, and they would be able to just build longbows in the Imperial Age. All the gold miners go down. As I think the attack bell on that town center made Gamgee not see the attack on the south side, losing all those villagers in the process.
That's going to be a big hit because he was actually ahead in villagers a second ago. Now he is down in villagers. But once we get to the these Imperial Age longbowmen are going to be a serious threat.
Another thing is that while that gold mine was lost, if this Imperial Age comes through and enclosures get researched, it will cause the English to be in a very fantastic spot as they don't super need that gold mine in the end. Berkshire Palace will be completed, denying that right side of any engagement here.
Now, Monsieur Gamgee has spectated other English games and had made a lot of statements about getting enclosures. He tells everyone you got to get enclosures. Let's see if he follows his own advice here and gets it pretty early.
It does not look like that upgrade's coming in. There is no market to balance out all of these extra resources, and there is no gold production coming in, but more longbows being constructed. It is a difficult situation, and Gamgee needs that gold. Gets all the gold miners he can to try to produce it. There is an army of the Roost, but it's not large. It's a lot of horse archers. It's not. It can't really push on this English army, this mass of longbows and general troops. In the French, the Roost still do not have. They have just the double range upgrade. They do not have HP. They don't have any other melee upgrades to come in and help them out. They don't even have second range upgrades. It is going to be a detriment versus these +2, realizing now the only option here is to force the English to move forward, but this is where the English shine. This is actually one of the strengths of the English, is pushing on this front.
The only thing here is that now the Rus are going to have to get to Imperial, because their longer range Springles will let them hold this position. But the English have 3,000 gold on that gold mine. They have 4,000 gold. They still have 7,000 gold available. Unfortunately, he does not have enclosures with almost 3 mills full of villagers. That might come back to bite him later in this game, but for now, the sacred site capturing has begun. Springald's coming out. The question is, what is Fight2theDeath going to use? What is his unit composition? It looks like it's Knights. Knights.
Lots of Knights.
Option. What do you think?
Knights is a really good choice. This castle is going to be spotted by the wooden fortress. It is going to be start siege down, and there comes this Trebs, giving away that there is vision as that castle gets. That is a huge hit. That's a loss of all stone.
That's a terrible loss. So that's 650 stone. No, that's 800 stone. I don't know what I am talking about. That is 800 stone gone in one shot.
No enclosures, still not coming in. That is a huge loss of massive amounts of gold that is necessary for this push to come through.
High armory deployed in the north.
Indeed, looking to move up into the next age. Is looking a bit rough for the English, but they have quite a bit of reserves of resources. They're planning on something with all these resources. They're not entirely sure what they want to push with it. The Knight, realizing that all the positions have been fortified, all of these sacred sites, everything but the middle. There's no timer going down.
No, there isn't. This is a big thing for Fight2theDeath. The longer he waits to start this timer, the harder it's going to be for him to hold, because the English mass of Trebs is going to get bigger and bigger.
Indeed. It looks like we have the elite upgrade coming in for these longbows. The siege now coming out. The high armory's in, but the Springald upgrade is not. This is going to prove to be quite a dangerous situation. Enclosures being researched. Once that comes in, that's going to be quite a dangerous position. The trebuchet's scared of the other trebuchet that was been launched here, realizing that it probably can take this fight.
Yeah, the English are going for that snipe right here. The question is, do the English have the bonus shatter damage yet? They do not have shatter projectiles, so they are right now just normal Trebs. Nothing necessarily too crazy, but those are elite longbowmen. Do the elite longbowmen have all of their upgrades? Do not have all of them, but they have most of them, and we got a fight in the center of the map starting to unfold.
They do, but they do have arrow volley if they want to activate it. Another volley. They're just going to retreat. They're going to get into the area. The Berkshire Palace now active, looking to move back even more. Pushed back. Enclosures.
That Springald just wants to die. He just wants to die. What is he doing? Oh my god. What is this Springald doing?
It's gone.
It's gone. I hate that. I hate that. I hate when that happens.
Enclosures finally coming in for the English. Going to give a massive economic boost for the English moving forward. No university yet. Timer is in place. More. Where is all that gold going into? It has gone into the Elite Knight upgrade.
We have one more gold mine in play, and then the English are going to have to rely on enclosures.
Indeed, that is going to pose quite a bit of a problem. Looking to produce shatter projectiles, looking to try to get a massive siege to try to push on it. That castle, now completely constructed.
One big issue here is that we're seeing a transition to Streltsy. Streltsy do not counter Longbowmen. Longbowmen counter Streltsy because they are out of range. The Streltsy will have to move forward to face the longbows. If the longbows back up, then they just keep kiting. The Streltsy are going to get torn to pieces. This might not be the best transition for Fight2theDeath, but the fact that he has all of these knights, all of these range units in siege, he has a lot of experience with this. So if anyone can make the Streltsy work, he can.
Indeed, this army's now moving up, realizing it's trying to go on the offensive here, realizing these archers are grouped up. There's two mangonels in that group. These knights are not doing very well. These keep moving back, keep kiting underneath the tower. These knights not finding much help. There's a lot of power here. These longbowmen doing a lot of work, clearing up the front line. These mangonels not sieging the archers that need to be killed here.
No, and as a matter of fact, the entire army is completely killed. Those Streltsy trying to do their ridiculous melee thing for no reason. They really
doesn't
need
matter.
to fix that.
The whole army here completely killed, fighting under the Berkshire Palace here. Everything here not looking good. Archer fire coming in. It is that whole Roos army completely destroyed. More horse archers, more scouts being produced.
Now
no doubt to vision.
It is going pure Streltsy right now, but the Streltsy do not have the range upgrades. They don't have the last defense upgrade. They're going to need that to face these longbows. These longmen the longmen do not have fire arrows yet, I believe. If they get fire arrows, if they get their increased attack speed, which they do have, if they get all of those upgrades in the last range upgrade, they could have shredded them even harder. The range upgrade coming in, but it is queued last, so it will not come in for 3 minutes. And if we remember, we've already gone about 4 minutes in. I'd love to tell you guys what the actual timer is, but it doesn't tell me either. We will get a 2-minute notification when it counts down, but we are getting pretty close.
It is no doubt feeling the pressure, needing to push with these trebuchets. More castles coming down, more Streltsy being produced. Streltsy, they might not be the answer if more longbows come out, but it looks like there's a transition into knights.
That is ironically, he is transitioning into knights when all he had to do was just keep building longbows.
Indeed, longbows are really good in this late game, realizing the castle needs to be sieged down to try to push, try to force something happening. There is a single Springald, but the upgrades have not come in for those Springalds. They are still the short-range Springalds you'd expect from any other civilization, and without those range upgrades, it puts them in quite a bit of position here. Choosing Op to actually go for the wooden fortress to try to deny vision, not a bad choice here. But as long as those keep staying, there's no chance of being able to push the Springald now. Moving forward, looking to start sniping the siege here. It's going to start firing. They're going to start running away. This going down, and they're going to lose vision of these trebuchets into the forest.
He does recall the Springald this time.
Indeed.
Very good play.
No Springald, more longbows. A bunch of longbows now queued up into there. All the upgrades now coming in.
104 villagers against 109. Both players' economies are fully in effect. This is now down to the choices they make with the ecos that they have. Monsieur Gamgee sitting on 7,000 food. And it might be the reason he did the night transition here. The enclosures plus the food income, it gives him enough to just keep building knights. The question is that going to be the right choice? Are the knights going to be enough to stop these Streltsy? We have knights coming in from the Roost. The Roost knights are better than the English knights. If the English knights don't have that attack speed bonus, if they get that attack speed bonus, it's a very straightforward, even combat between them. The other question is, what Imperial text do we have for either player? From what I see, I do not know if we have a university on
the side.
Fight2theDeath side. No, neither side.
Neither side. The problem the English are having is they have a lot of castles. The more time they waste, the more castles are going up here, the harder it is going to be pushed. There's a lot of trebuchets here, and there's no vision from the Roost. These trebuchets can begin firing at any time, but there is a lot of Streltsy, not supported by too much siege though. It's going to be quite a difficult fight here. A lot of knights, and the base itself is open. If these English knights want to raid, this would be the perfect time to go around the flank side here, go for all of these farms that are unprotected.
Have the traps moving in. One thing to note though, that sacred site is giving vision. He is rallying his entire army on that sacred site. Monsieur Gamgee knows exactly what he is up against.
There is one Springald in that whole army looking to fire. I think they're aiming
straight for it. He's aiming for the units. He's aiming for the units.
He's aiming for that Springald.
Oh! Huge amounts of damage hit on the Streltsy. The Streltsy drawn forward.
It is looking rough. They are in a scarce situation. The English now at population cap. No university for those upgrades yet. Neither for the Roost. The Roost still not. Roost finally getting up their Springald upgrades. Their Springald's now quite powerful, but only 2 of them in the field here. Everything now sieging. It's looking like a push is necessary. These knights being a little aggressive, being a little bit too forward, worrying about everything here.
There are no armor upgrades for the Streltsy quite yet. No gunpowder upgrades. No one has a university. One thing that Monsieur Gamgee did do is he did show the cards, letting him know, oh yeah, I can see you on the sacred site, so the army is now no longer on the sacred site, and mass is inside.
The knights opted to try to burn down the keep, taking the losses to get the guarantee on the kill. But there is a lot of keeps here. Realizing it has to siege down these longbows a little bit out of position. These Streltsy are going to do really well versus the knights. Looking to
3 minutes. 3 minutes to sacred site defeat. He's going to have to make a play here. There's not much of a choice. But this giant army of Streltsys, of knights, they're going to fight the knights alone. The longmen aren't quite there yet. Here we go. We have the final showdown between these 2 armies. Whoever wins this fight wins this game.
These trebuchets stuck in the army. They're moving up. They're stuck here. But these longmen sitting in the back, dealing heavy damage to everything in the area, firing at They were firing at the mangonels, but the mangonels were moving because they're going right for these archers. They clean up the archers. The English army is collapsing. This is looking really bad. There is nothing there to defend against this push here, and it looks very dire for the English. There is the Berkshire Palace in the corner. It hasn't been repaired. There's not much siege in terms of the Rus being able to push forward with it, but they have a broken base and surrender.
2-2 in the best of 5. What an amazing demonstration for both these players.